past, fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kiru's show here. And now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Junto. And, well, quite a bit of things have happened. Now, in the last part, after Deku and his familia, they went through the sports festival, Deku received a gift from Vingola 9. That gift being a motorcycle. Now, Deku was alarmed by that, since apparently Vingola 9 pulled a few, well, connections, got him a bike, got it transported to Japan, got him a driver's license, along with even registration and everything done properly. Now, it was quite a shock to Deku. And, well, something else is even going on. Reborn believes that they're being monitored, and that in and above itself is not good. Now, with that being said, we do actually have, later that night, Deku and his familia, they did gather together. They went to a secure location where they did do their training. And after everything was said and done, we actually do have where Deku and them are all sitting down and talking more. Now, Reborn does go over this information. Earlier today, he felt like somebody was following him, and it did actually concern him. Now, Deku, he knows what Reborn is talking about. He actually felt like there were some eyes on him earlier whenever he was driving around. He didn't want to say anything about it because he just thought, well, it's him on a motorcycle. But now he does get it. Now, Reborn will continue to explain. If anybody, they do begin to notice strange things around them, do not say a word about it. Act like they are not there, or simply just try to ignore them. He believes that somewhere around the 2 weeks, while everybody is outside of their homes and not staying in their cities or, well, houses, people may attempt to bug their places. So, if this does happen, they will have to communicate via secret messages or even codes. Now, this is all quite interesting. And Reborn, he even does bring up the fact that none of them will be able to use their phones to communicate with each other like they usually do. They can all talk and do stuff like that, but for familial business, there will be a secret phrase. Now, this is quite interesting. Everybody gathering together and leaving. Now, there is even where the 2 weeks do begin. And there is Deku. Now, Deku, he still does hold some regret in his heart. He feels like something is wrong. He, well, still hasn't gotten over the fact that Ochako and Osprey are dead. Those two were good people. However, this feeling in his gut, he doesn't know what it is. It's, well, it feels like he's in danger. Or no, it feels like somebody else is in danger. But why is that? Now, Deku, he actually does go to, well, say goodbye to everyone else. As he does decide that his internship, quote-unquote, yeah. The location he's supposed to head to, it's technically in another city. However, it's really not. Now, we do actually have where Deku, he does go to wait around, as the train station does begin to at least start to clear. And Deku does finally go to stand up and go to hop on the train. Now, As it does happen, we do go for Deku. After he does get inside the train, he does find somebody he was supposed to meet. As he does, well, change around his clothing with this person. Deku giving them his hoodie as he do give him a different jacket, along with even a beanie and some glasses to cover his hair and face. Now, this person switches out with Deku, as at the next stop, he does go to get off, while the body double, quote unquote, does just stand in the corner, or at least stay a bit more hidden. Now, with that being said, Deku, he does go to walk up and out of the train, well, out of the subway. As whenever he does get up there, he does see his bike parked there, as somebody's sitting next to it. Deku walking up and bringing up his hand to show off his ring, as the person they do go to nod and then go to turn and walk away, as Deku does go to hop on his bike and go to rev up the engine, as he does go to put on his helmet. Now, as it does happen, Deku does go to drive off, as we actually do have at a stoplight, where Deku's phone does buzz and he is going to look down at it, as it does actually see that a few things are happening. Everybody's quote-unquote body doubles are duplicates. They're all in place. However, there is a bit of a problem. It feels like, or not really it feels like, but Kendo, she does think that somebody actually is following her. She noticed it the other day, but she didn't really know what to say. It seems like this person, they followed her to the station, and then whenever she did hop on her train, they were in the same car. She couldn't approach the body double to swap out, so she's still currently on her train. Now, Deku, he does see that, as he does text her telling her to, at least, hop off on the next stop, tell the double to leave the cart, and he himself will at least do something about it. Now, she does go to listen, as we do have where Deku, he does go to try and make his way to the next station, or at least a station that's very close. Now, as that does happen, we do currently have Deku, where he does arrive at the station and go to jump off his bike really quickly. Grabbing his keys, he does go to run down into the subway. Now, Deku, yeah, he does go to hop in the train cart or the subway. There, I cannot speak. He does go to hop into the, well, I can't think of the name of those things. He goes to hop into the actual train cart and then go to try and make his way towards Kendo, where she should be. As Deku, he does actually run into this supposed body double. Now, he was quite surprised, as the person has talked about how they specialize in the, well, what is it? Construction, or the mist flame. Now, Deku, yeah, he was kind of intrigued by that, as he does go to find Kendo. Now, as this does happen, Deku, he does directly go to get behind Kendo and cover her. As Kendo and the double, they quickly do begin to start at least changing jackets. And the double does go to actually take their hoodie off, as they do give it to Kendo. And Kendo does go to at least give them something of hers that does cover their head. Now, as does happen, the person who's trying to at least follow Kendo does go to move forwards, as Kendo does quickly go to try and make her escape, as Deku does go out after her. Now, we do actually have the double who does go to try and go across the train car, as she's trying to squeeze through many different passengers and even try to make sure this person is lured away. Now, they wouldn't be able to escape, as the ride would actually be a bit surprising. Now, over the course of these 2 weeks, Deku and his familia, they would spend it out in the forest. Reborn already had everything brought together. The location they're at is secluded, and will not be easily found. Now, This is where Reborn, he did actually have Deku's familia face off against him. Reborn was curious to see Deku's X-Burner in action. Or, well, his ice attack. I really forgot the name of that. I need to look that up again. Anyways, now, there is actually Deku, who he's currently facing off against Todoroki and Bakugo, as Deku's using his gloves to fly through the air at high speeds. As Todoroki, he's trying to use his ice to catch it to Deku, while he's also trying to use his flames to attack. Now, this is where Deku, he actually does go to dodge out of the way as they go to use their box weapons. Now, with that, Deku, yeah, he does go to dodge out of the way of, I believe it was a giant wolf, and try to stay on the defensive, while Bakugo, he's going for offensive, him flying up into the air as he does go to try and bring up his gloves and smash Deku across the face. Now, as Bakugo does go to do that, Deku actually does go to grab his wrist as he does go to send out a large blast of his sky flames. Deku begins to spin around as he does go to toss Bakugo directly back at Todoroki, before he does go to bring up his hands and begin to start doing an X-Burner. Now, as Deku does do that, you actually do have where Deku, he does actually know somebody's to his front, or directly at least 45 degrees to his right and in the air. Now, Deku does get to dodge out of the way of their attack, as he actually has to throw his left hand to his right and blast that way. As Deku does go flying through the air and he's directly above Todoroki and Bakugo. Him going to throw down both of his hands as he does do an X-Burner that way, blasting himself higher and higher up into the air. Now, as Deku does fly up high, his flames do go to run out. And Deku is still floating up high, he does go to reach into his jacket and go to grab 2 of his pills. As he does begin to start falling, Deku does go to throw the pills in his mouth. And he does actually begin to start lighting his flame up once again. As Deku does go to throw up his hands and begin to start flying once again. Now, Reborn, he is very impressed, as he is at least somewhat a little disappointed. As the rest of Deku's familia, they are ordered to join in. We actually have Denki, who, using his box weapon, he does get to bring up his fingers, as he should just stick to firing off lightning flames for the moment. He knows that for a fact that his, well, lightning flames, they're technically not lightning. However, he is trying to work on a secret move that he hopes will impress Reborn. Now, Denki's firing off with his lightning rods, as we actually have Kirishima, who he actually does go to bring up his arms and smash them together, as he does charge his body with red flames. Now, Kirishima does go to just blast his arms backwards down to his sides, as he does just think, okay, if the boss can fly using, well, gloves, and Bakugo can do something similar like that with boots, then maybe he can fly using this weaponized system. Now, he doesn't go to bring up his hands downwards, as he does go to leap upwards into the air, as he does blast off with one of his weapons, or the cannons connected to his arm. No. As he does do that, he does actually go to bring up his other arm, as he does smash it downwards once again, as he does fly up high into the air. Now, Deku does turn to see him, as Kirishima, he does actually go to try and bring up his hands and copy Deku's movements. Now, Reborn is actually very impressed. The fact that Kirishima is trying to use the heavy amounts of recoil from heavy blast to move, it's quite reminiscent of Bakugo's gauntlet system. So there is actually a brain in there under all of that muscle. Now, as that is actually happening, we do have Momo and Kendo. Kendo, she is trying to wait till they can get Deku closer to the ground. Her bird can slow down his movements, yes, but Deku's beginning to learn how to harmonize. And that's what's messing them all up. Deku tries to stay away from the bird as much as possible. However, there's also Momo. Anytime Deku does think he destroyed the original bird, she's making copies and duplicates. And this is forcing Deku to be all around the battlefield, not knowing which one is the real one. Now, this type of training does continue on. And Reborn, he actually does push them all up to a bit of greater heights. In the 2 weeks that they've all been out here, they've made improvements. Deku's beginning the idea of harmonizing along with using the anti-death penetration flame, if you do want to call it that. Now, people did ask about that, and Deku did basically at least try to explain that it was something that Vangola 9 himself has actually used before. Now, it was quite strange and intriguing, and Deku he did basically throw out the idea of reversing your flames, which no one understood at all. Now, it wasn't really that much of a shock, since Deku himself, he's still trying to wrap his head around the idea. The simple fact that you reverse your flames to make them ice, you could say, it makes no sense to him. Now, with that being said, there is actually today, nearing the end of the 2 weeks, Deku, he's actually thought about opening his box weapon. And Reborn, yeah. He specifically ordered Deku to not open his box weapon until the time does come, or until Reborn does order him to. Now, Deku has listened to that command. However, it's been, what, almost a month? In this amount of time, Deku's made improvement, so he should be able to open it now, right? Why can't he? No. Reborn, he would inform Deku. The simple reason why he can't open it right now is because he doesn't have the approval of the... I forgot the name of them. The 7 Albarenos, I believe it's called? I think that's right. Now, Deku was quite confused. He's heard that phrase brought up before. And Reborn, he would explain it. He has to pass trials and be recognized as the next boss in order to be able to open that box. Right now, Deku, he is making very much progress. And at the rate he is going at, he will be able to open that box in roughly, possibly even a year. Now, Deku, he is sort of annoyed by that. A year? He spent all that time getting this box back, putting his crew's life on the line for the fact that he has to wait a year to open this damn thing. Now, Deku does get somewhat annoyed, as he does ask Reborn exactly why does he have to wait that long. And Reborn, he would just look at Deku, as he does inform him that right now he has to be patient. Very soon he will face off against trials. And these trials, they are going to be what defines him as a boss. He's confident that Deku could pass them right now. However, the fact that he can prepare and be ready isn't a bad thing. A good boss is always on guard and ready to wait or strike, since he has to think about what's good for the Familia, not just himself. Now, Deku, he does understand these words. He has to think about what's right, what's best for everybody. And Deku's mind does go flashing back to the USJ, where he failed to protect 2 people. Now, Deku does get somewhat angry, as he does go to bring up his hands and go to grab 2 of his pills. As Deku, he does take 2 of them and go flying off. As Reborn, he did actually see that. Now, Reborn, he does understand that Deku, he's, well, an emotional boy. In fact, the idea that he can just let go of what happened, that's not something that he thinks Deku will ever be able to do. His one problem is he cares far too much. Now, he wishes that Deku he could break that habit. Then again, it's also something he does admire about the boy. Whenever push comes to shove, Deku will fight. Deku doesn't seem like very much of a fighter, but he will stand and fight as if he is the last person there. Now, with that, Deku, yeah, he did need some time to cool off, since he knows he can't really fly back into the city. If he's spotted, then it will be a problem for many different people, along with the Familia. So Deku, he did just fly into the forest, as he did find a tall tree where he can just sit down and try to think. Now, Deku, he actually does go to look out into the forest, and try to think about what happened that day. Something doesn't sit right with him. It couldn't have happened. Asui, yeah, he understands how she died. But Ochako, he liked her. She was nice to him. Her injuries weren't that severe, yet she still somehow died. It can't be. It's all his fault. That's it, isn't it? He's the reason why both of them are dead, and he can't change that. Now, we actually do have Bakugo, who he did go to follow Deku, as he does currently at least fly there overhead. Hey Deku. Deku going to look up, as he does see Bakugo. What do you want? Well, I was hoping to stop you from doing something stupid. Isn't that your job, Bakugo? What was that? You know what I said. I'll let that one slide. Are you okay? Not really. I still think about them sometimes, you know? I do too. Round face and, well, Ochako and, well, what was her name? Asui? She preferred to be called Sue. Right, Sue. I wasn't their friend. I'm not too sure what to say to you, actually. However, things could be worse. How? We could all be dead. Think about it. We were caught off guard. They basically caught us with our pants down, and because of that, we fucked up. That villain guy, what was his name? Shigaraki. Now, Baku does see the look of anger on Deku's face. It's one he's seen before, but not to this extent. Shigaraki, right? He killed both of them. So we need to catch him. Now, Deku, he is thinking. He wants to do more than catch that guy. He got away, and Deku, he should have killed him. Now, Deku does try to think about that word in his mind. Kill Shigaraki. That guy is a villain, and from what he's seen, taking a life like he did was far too easy. Now, Deku's turned that idea in his stomach over many times. Killing somebody, taking their life. Bakugo? Yeah, Izuku? I want to kill Shigaraki. I don't blame you. The guy's a villain. And, well, so are we, right? What do you mean? We're the fucking mafia, dude. We're gonna be villains, right? That's what we are. Now, we can do good. Hmm? We can do good. I mean, we can kill villains, but we can protect people by doing that, couldn't we? I mean, yeah, we could, but do you really think that would be a good idea? Wouldn't All Might be after us? I mean, you're right, but there's also UA. Hmm? And then there's our parents. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, our parents are freak out. And well, I just don't think it would be a good idea. You, you could kill him one day, sure, but for right now, I think we shouldn't do that, you know? I get what you mean, Bakugo, but still. Now, Deku and Bakugo do talk. Bakugo is kind of surprised. Deku's hero ideology, it's changing. And, well, it's not for the better. Deku's ideology of saving people, protecting them, and taking down villains. It's gone from that to I wish to kill people to protect. If the threat can't get up again, they can't harm anyone else. Now, Bakugo, he does understand it. A bit too well. He feels that way too, but he doesn't want to admit it to Deku. He knows that he has to be the voice of reason, no matter how much he wishes for that bastard to die. Now, with that, eventually Deku and Bakugo would head back to the camp, where everybody there currently at least preparing some food and talking around a campfire. Now, they're trying to at least be happy and regular kids. However, whenever Deku and Bakugo do both come walking back up, that illusion does somewhat break. Now, Reborn, he does look their way, as he does know what's happening with Midoriya. He's seen that downward spiral. He's been down that spiral before. He knows that it's, well, an unhealthy obsession right now. But he can't break that facade for him. Right now, Deku, he needs that murderous intent. And if he doesn't have it, he might actually break. Now, with that being said, the 2 weeks are up, and everybody they do return to things as usual, or back to normal, you could say. As we do actually have in class, where everybody is talking about their internships and going over everything they've gone through. As we actually have Deku, who is looking out the window. He knows that not really very much happened for his own. They've all got some stories made up and things they can at least talk about in front of other people. However, other than that, not very much could really be said. Now, somebody they actually do go to get Deku's attention. As Deku he does turn his head and see Tenya Ida. Now, Deku does ask Four Eyes exactly what's up. You seem kind of spaced out. Are you okay? Yeah, I am. Sorry. I just didn't catch too much sleep last night. I was up all night thinking. Oh, I see. Well, you should be a little bit more careful. Yeah, I know. Anyways, how was your internship? Oh, mine was very good. Ah, okay. Well, anyways. Now, class will resume as normal. And Deku, yeah. He doesn't think too much of that interaction. But anyway, guys, I do hope you enjoyed. Have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.